Right, so the first thing I need to do actually is to start Enonic. So what I do first is I make a sandbox, right? Just use the newest one. Oh, there was a new release again. Okay, cool. And then I want to start it, right? Sandbox 3 was it? So then we should have Enonic. And then I want to install Explorer, straight for market. And there we go. Now we have Enonic, Explorer installed. And here it is. What I'm going to do today actually is I'm not going to look into all the features of Explorer. I'm going to mainly just use it to do something useful. So I'm going to get like some cars from fin.no, and I'm going to make a search of that. So the first thing I need to do is I need to say what is it that I am going to store or search for. So it's cars. So I'm going to make a document type. Yeah, I'm going to do it in Norwegian because that's actually what I've used in my code. So I'm making a new document type, and I'm allowing it to create fields automatically. We're going to see this later. Yeah?
What's Explorer?
Explorer is a tool which has two parts to it. One part is to fetch or index data, and the other one is to search the data that you have indexed. So I'm going to demonstrate all what it does during this demo. But it can do a lot of things. So now we have made a document type Bil. It has no fields currently. It will have fields soon. And now we have found out what it is, but then we have to also have where are we going to store this. So now we need something called a collection. Basically under the hood it's just a normal XP repo. So I'm going to make one of those as well. Biler. Okay, we can say it's Norwegian by default, and we're not going to have any collectors this time. But we want to use this Bil document type. So what I basically do then is that I'm saying that in this collection Biler, I'm going to store Bil. Yeah. So that's that. And there it is. It's empty, nothing here yet. There are two ways to populate data. You can either build a collector, which runs inside Enonic, or you can build your own external script that pushes data via a REST API. So we're going to use the REST API today. But in order to use that API, you need a password. So that's why we set up something called an API key. So now again, let's make one for Biler. I'm just going to make the password Biler. And I'm going to say we are allowed to write to the collection called Biler. So now I have set up a way to push data into this Explorer. And now we can just have a quick look at the REST API documentation. There. So we have a REST API endpoint, which has the normal get, post, and for bulk and also for single. So yeah, most people should be known with what a REST API is. It's been around for a long time. So I'm going to use this to push data into this. So yeah, I spent about a day on writing a crawler. I'm not going to show too much of this code. Yeah, where's the zoom? Is it this again? No. So, but basically what it does, it takes a bunch of node modules, especially this one called Surgeon. Surgeon is quite cool because what it does, it's when you feed it some HTML, it uses DOM parsers to make it into a DOM structure, and then it uses Cheerio, which is sort of jQuery for the server side. So you can actually do CSS selections inside the DOM structure. And then, so what I do then, I use a normal HTTP fetch to download pages from fin.no. And I will just go with CSS selectors and find, oh, here's a link to a car. Let's go to the car. And then on the page for the car, let's grab these values. Right? That's pretty much all it does. So it has like a long list of different fields it makes. Kilometer, fuel, like a lot of fields. And that's about it. And let's actually run that script. I'm going to use something called Bun. That is a project which aims to fix a lot of all the JavaScript pain we have been having for a long time. So it's a drop-in replacement for Node. It's not full featured yet, but it's like ESBuild. It's much faster than Node. But it's also actually a drop-in replacement for NPM. So it's better than Yarn and PNPM. And in fact, it's also faster than ESBuild. It has an internal builder as well. So you can use it for quite a bit of things, but it's not quite full-featured. So let's run this. So now it goes to fin.no and fetches cars. So while that is running, we can go inside the Explorer and have a look at collections. Now you can see this number here suddenly is 12 cars, 16 cars, 17 cars, so it's filling up with cars. We can even go in and look at some car, like what did we get? We get a lot of information about that car. So you can even, like, I think, search already. Let's see, are there any? No Audis? Tesla? Nothing yet. So you never know what you get. Yeah, it's done already. Okay. So now we have data, which is cool. So we looked at the data, but we can also see that the document type we created for Bill, suddenly it has a lot of fields, which has been automatically generated from the data. It looked at the data and said, oh, this is this type of data. And then, so you can see that it found a lot of strings and it found some numbers, some dates, right? So that's cool. So all these things we can actually use to display information on our web page. Like we want to see the age of the car, or yeah, stuff like this. So now we want to actually search this data, right? And then we need to create something called an interface. So what that does, basically, I'm going to say, just give it a name again and say which collections, because you can have many collections. You can have persons and cars and whatever. You can all in the same interface if you like. So I'm going to use the biler, and I'm also going to say that I'm going to have some boosting. If you know what that means, it means that when you are searching, it will give these fields more weight. Yeah?
Just another question.
Yeah.
For the fields, are the types auto-generated, or you wrote those into the code?
Those are auto-generated. You can also override them by editing them after. And if you change the type of a field, it will re-index all the documents so that it will now work with search features. So let's boost these two fields. And now we can have a look at this button here. Oh, suddenly we have GraphQL. So now I can go in here and say, just show me some data. What do we have? Oh, we have a lot of 51 cars, yeah? So what do we want to find out? Let's see, I can remove some of this stuff. Oh, yeah. probably here, right? That's a bit much. Something like this. I don't need all this. Don't need that. Okay. So, what do we want to search for? Let's see, actually, let's find out what kind of titles do we have. So, if in the search results we get a bil, what is its title? Let's get 3 titles, right? Opel, BMW. Yeah, so we can actually search for Opel, for instance. And now we get highlighting, even with stemming. So like if I say Opelen, it will understand that Opelen means Opel. So if you know what stemming in, it will take the end, like in Norwegian, we have Opel, Opelen, Opelene, Opler, etc. It will understand it's the core of the word. So that's pretty cool. So in order to build a search client, all I'm going to use is basically this GraphQL API. It has everything I need. It even has synonyms if I want that. We haven't put that into this demo today. It has highlighting. It has filters. You can say, only give me cars that are 3 years old or newer. You have aggregations, and I'm going to use aggregations quite a bit in the client. So a final thing, in order to be able to again access this data, this interface, I need to add it to this password or this API key. So I go in here and say, okay, I'm allowing reading of the interface biler. Yes. And now I can actually start the client. Let's see. It's basically just a create React app. I spent about 2 days, I think, on this search page. And now here are some cars from fin.no, right? We can search again. What was it? Opel. Right? Now the list is only Opels. So under the hood, it's doing GraphQL requests. For this model here, it's basically just using a min and max aggregation to find out what is the oldest car and what is the newest car. And now I can like say, give me only cars from the year 2022. Or like give me cars only from, yeah, like between ranges, right? So that's pretty cool. Again, we have used aggregations here to find out what are the different kinds of fuels these cars have. So let's say we want electrical, and then the list is filtered by electrical. And then I did a little bit of fun stuff, the numbers that Finn doesn't give you. So let's say I want to have the car that is the cheapest per kilometer, right? That's this one. Or like the cheapest by effect. So, and the same, you can see here these numbers are green and red. Green means is like the best, and red means is the oldest or worst. Again, I've used mean and max aggregations and just compared the number. Is this the same as the mean or max? So it's quite easy to do this. But of course, I don't only need, this is done with a filter. Give me only the match, right? I can also do sorting by the same way. Like say, give me all the cars sorted by kilometer price or price per kilometer, right? You see, now it's the same car in the top, but yeah, okay. So no, but I only want electric, right? So now it's combining different facets here to show me which is the cheapest car per kilometer, which is electric. Yeah, and you have a bunch of, all these typical pris, lav, høy, kilometer, low, high. Yeah, give me the newest cars, I guess. Yeah, here you go. So that's cool. Other things, I did these numbers here and the pagination on the side. All of these are just calculated from this per side here. This means count. How many do you want to show per page? And this, which is basically where do you start? So when you see it says 0 here now, if I go to the next page, it's now 10, right? 20, 30, etc. So it's very easy to make pagination as well. Yeah, I think that was about it, really. So it's, yeah, Thomas?
I know why you didn't get hits on the first search, because currently the fields are not added to the whole text.
That's correct. Yeah, yeah.
There's a magic field that
Right.
that you can kind of join other text fields into it. And
Right. So if I searched here for Opel, and there is nothing here, well, actually has interesting. Let me test something. Okay, we can actually fix it live. We can go into this document type, and we can say we want, am I blind? There it is, the top, of course. I want title to be in all text, right? Save that. So now it's re-indexing those 50 cars. And so if I search for Opel, it's already here. So, yeah.
How would you include both data from an external or multiple external source together with content from your own Enonic content database?
Yeah, so there is one collector which is included in the installation, which is this web page collector. So if I say exam, example, for instance, let's go English. I choose this web crawler collector. Instead of doing the outside, I'm now inside. And I say, okay, I want to get like this. Save. So now when I click this button here now it went to example.com and did the crawling. And if I refresh the page, I think, yeah, here you can see I've already gotten a document from the internet. So with this type of collectors, you can set up a lot of crawling. Like for FOE, we might have 50, 60 crawls, which goes to many different web pages on the internet and fetches data and presents it all in one search.
Okay, but for, let's say, an intranet with lots of different content reserved for different user groups, you would build your own custom collector, yeah?
Yeah, custom collectors is probably the way to go. I did a fairly complex collector with Surgeon. But the problem with internet, it keeps changing. It's a dynamic. So the way Google typically does it, they just fetch all the data as a text. They don't have structures like we did today with like age and kilometer and blah, blah, blah. So, but I guess in the age of AI, this is probably going to change. Like the AIs will be able to understand different kinds of data structurally. Yeah.
Okay, combine this, for example, this bill collection with comment on a CMS default repo without having a crawler?
No, not currently. It's a bit difficult. You can crawl your own site, of course. But we have some ideas about how we're going to change or make this possible. So, but we are not there yet.
I have one question.
Yeah.
What's the main benefit of using Explorer if you are already using XP?
Well, Enonic XP only has built-in search for the internal data, and this is very customizable. So even if you have like a lot of articles and stuff, you probably have to write a lot of code or use Guillotine, for instance, to be able to get the search results you want. With this, it's like in old SQL databases, you can set up your own index and like have it the way you want it for this specific search. Yeah.
You can show helsebibliotek quickly.
Yeah.
But would you say it's mainly beneficial for crawling type tasks?
No. Any type of data you want to aggregate together and provide the search.
So So this is the public site of helsebibliotek.no, which actually uses Explorer under the hood. And you see they have a lot of sources. They have different filters, information types, languages, pagination, stuff like this. Yeah.
These are kind of, I don't know, how many sources are there?
I think between 50 and 70 sources.
So including
Yeah. Some of them are XML, JSON, there are APIs, they're fetching from different sources. So
And it's all crawl.
different kinds of crawl in a way, yeah. Yeah. So you can do anything you want as long as you just get the data in there, then you can search it after.